Great to have your company. Hope you're enjoying all of the action so far from the Palace of Culture and Sport. And this should be a most interesting competition. There was quite a gap between first and second place in the preliminary round, but as we all know with beam, things can really take on a life of their own once the final comes around. Certainly some very good contenders to earn a place on the podium. The finalists in the women's balance beam competition. Top in qualification, the last gymnast to go, Mariana Kiniuk of Ukraine. She scored 13.4. That was 4/10 higher than Emily Roper, the second best in the preliminary stage, and she will conclude the first half of the final. This is the start of the World Challenge Cup season in FIG competition. We've concluded the World Cups. All finished in Cairo very recently. Lovely competition there, great competition for African gymnasts. There were so many of them on the podium in history-making moments for their nations, including 2 gold medals for the Egyptians. It's one of the great things about the World Cups, as they're held across the globe. We get to see different national teams sending different athletes to them. And this in Varna has given us an opportunity to look at some gymnasts that we don't get the chance to see a great deal of. So let's wish them the best of fortune now as they take to the beam. We'll hand over to the in-venue presentation team for the official introductions.
Warm-up for the first 4 athletes.
The beam final will begin in just a moment. Good luck to all of them who've made it to this stage. In the first half of the final, we're going to look at Nola Matthews of the USA. She was the 3rd best in qualification. The 4th best will follow her. That's Luxembourg's Celeste Mordenti. Both Matthews and Mordenti were on the uneven bars podium yesterday. Then Lin Yichun of Chinese Taipei. She was the 8th best qualifier. And she will be the 3rd to go. It will be Emily Roper of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, who will be the last gymnast in the first half. She was the 2nd best in qualifying. So interesting to note that we're going to see 3 of the top 4 qualifiers in the first half of the final. But we're not going to have clarity until the very end, because Mariana Kiniuk, the Ukrainian who was the best in the preliminary competition, she will go right at the end. That's a lovely moment. Eddie and Kevin Penev both getting onto the podium in the floor final yesterday. Gold and silver. Now more honours for Eddie. There's a gymnast who has set a wonderful example of perseverance, of diligence. The improvement of Celeste Mordenti over the time that we've been watching her internationally has been a joy. Mordenti unquestionably comes into any event like this on the World Challenge Cup circuit as a medal contender. And that's not something that we were saying several years ago. But anytime you see her name on a list of finalists now, she is to be regarded as somebody able to get onto the podium. She certainly is as well. Nola Matthews proved that yesterday by winning the uneven bars gold medal. First time in a World Cup competition. Very good young British gymnast, Emily Roper. She's won international honours for both England and Wales. Was born in Ipswich in the east of England. We're very close to the start of proceedings. Nola Matthews will get us underway.
Ladies and gentlemen, representing the United States of America, Nola Matthews.
Nola Matthews of the USA getting us started on beam. Third best in qualification. Very smooth thus far. This is looking nice and tidy, and it was a good difficulty score in qualification, the second highest of anyone, 5.2. So unquestionably, she is capable of contending. Alignment is really strong, very little in the way of adjustment. Oh, and then after that, when everything had been very strong, off she comes. Well, it's just the way it can go on beam. Sometimes you can be 9/10 of the way there. That side aerial just had a backwards lean to it as she landed. Very nice double backwards tuck to conclude. Almost, I mean, that was almost a cracking display from Nola Matthews. It had so many terrific sequences. The gymnast from San Jose in California, who's been a double champion at the Pan American level. Started well, good mount sequence. Very good X-axis in the wolf turns. And there we are, coming out of that side aerial. Unfortunately, unintentionally dismounting the apparatus, taking a full mark of loss. She's a little piked as she lands the double tuck, but it was very good. So her qualification score was 12.8. And as I mentioned earlier, strong degree of difficulty, 5.2, the second highest of any of the qualifiers. Only Mariana Kiniuk had a 10th more. .366. So she is unfortunately down from the qualification score by about half a mark. Had she stayed on there, she would have been well beyond her qualification score. Everything else was going very nicely. Celeste Mordenti of Luxembourg, fourth best in qualification. Very graceful switch leap mount. quite get the legs up to horizontal there, but she saved the adjustment. Was at risk of going off. Very good. What a good hold too. That's an experienced gymnast. It's a quick routine. It's very purposeful. Now, can she keep the stability in the wolf turns? Yes, not the cleanest of reconnections with the extended leg on the beam. And comes off, unfortunately, out of the tucked backward somersault. It's another example of a routine that is very nearly there. She dismounts well, almost from Celeste Mordenti. But again, an example of the positive trajectory in her career, because there was a confidence to that performance. She was a fraction away from maintaining contact with the beam at all times. Mount looked very nice, straight into some very striking choreography, making it clear that she is authoritative on the apparatus. There was nothing tentative about what her arms were doing throughout. That was a really impressive hold. Wolf turns here, bend of the leg and a slight almost scrape of the beam as she comes back into contact. Twisting form at the end, loses a little shape, but the overall picture continues to be a strong one. She departs from this competition having won another medal. It's 11.6, so she was in line to be essentially where she was in qualification had she not come off the apparatus. That's a full mark down from the preliminary stage. Nice to see some of the naval cadets who were part of the presentations in the crowd, watching and enjoying the gymnastics. A lot to enjoy about this young competitor. This is 19-year-old Lin Yichun of Chinese Taipei, 8th best in qualification. Can do some very nice work on the beam. This is growing in confidence. It's a slightly tentative feel to the start of it, but it's now really developing its authority. She was, again, almost aligned. Acrobatic series proving problematic. So we've had issues for all of the first three, but really just the one issue unfortunately, those issues have been nestled amongst otherwise really nice looking beam performances. And there is the innate stark reality of this apparatus and how unforgiving it is. Good side somersault. Twists well to conclude. Lin Yichun of Chinese Taipei. She's somebody developing international experience. She made the beam final at the Szombathely World Challenge Cup in Hungary last year. She made the beam final in Cottbus at the start of this season. On both occasions, she was quite a way down from qualification. she will probably find that's the same here. It takes time to be able to consistently deliver what you can do in qualifying in a final. And it's a big occasion when you get to a final. And the only way to refine that is to just keep doing this, to keep coming back out there and competing internationally and getting more and more experience. The rudiments of her gymnastics are great. She's got some very strong elements to that routine, some very strong moments. It almost came together cohesively. 12.2 was the qualifying score. She made her World Championship debut at the most recent competition in Antwerp in 2023. That was a week after making her debut at the Asian Games. It was a very busy and high-pressure spell for Lin Yichun. Same year she got onto the podium at the Asian Championships with the team. We are still awaiting the number. Just to let you know that it's 12.366 that holds the lead, and it remains thus 11.833, so not a huge drop from qualifying. Only about 4/10 down.
Representing Great Britain, Emily Roper.
Emily Roper of Great Britain, second best in qualification. Starting nicely. 19-year-old with real potential to challenge. Oh, what a hold! What a hold! She was leaning backwards at the conclusion of those wolf turns. Very good. The body around fully. Free walkover had a big adjustment, but the feet remained planted and she held on. There's quite a few deductions as she goes through this, but she's staying on the apparatus. Again, gets the body around 180 degrees very well. And a very smooth dismount. Well, that's interesting. That is very interesting. From Emily Roper of Great Britain, that could be the routine that changes entirely the dynamic, I should say, of the podium. Let's have another look at this display. Mounted really well, totally in alignment. Look at the end of the wolf turns, backwards lean and incredible stability shown. That was a remarkably good save. Small adjustment there, but she minimises the deductions beautifully. That's impressive. Getting the body completely around to land in the starting position. And there, coming out of the free walkover, she's piked, she bends forwards, but holds it. Very well done, that. The two-time Northern European Championship gold medalist, And she is into the gold medal position, 12.466. It is a drop of just over half a mark from qualifying. All of those execution deductions added up. So what we saw for Roper was a little different from what we've seen for the first three. There wasn't one clear big moment where she lost most of her execution marks, but they were just incremental. But sufficient was her control to put her into the gold medal position at the halfway stage. Now, based on the qualification results, and who knows of what relevance they are in a beam final, but based on the qualification results, Roper may have done enough to get at least the silver medal. Because of the four remaining gymnasts going, only one of them scored stronger than 12.466 in the preliminary round. And that was Mariana Kiniuk, the top qualifier, who'll be the last to go. Following this, we'll bring you the men's parallel bars final. We have a look at Nicole Stoimenova of Bulgaria in front of her home fans. She said after qualification that she was so excited to get the chance to come back out for the finals in front of supporters who will, she knows, be so behind her. She has a very interesting gymnastics background at Stoimenova, because she actually trains at Links Gymnastics in Buckinghamshire in England. She's based in Aylesbury, but she was born in Blagoevgrad in this country. And there is the top performer in qualifying, Mariana Kiniuk. She was the bronze medalist on this apparatus at the Ukrainian Championships last year. It's a first ever senior international final for Mariana Kiniuk, and that itself carries an interesting dynamic.
Warm-up is over. Good luck.
Very experienced gymnast coming up.
Representing Iceland, Thelma Adelsteinsdottir.
This is Thelma Adelsteinsdottir of Iceland. The sixth best in qualifying, 12.35. And she is the reigning Northern European champion on this apparatus. She won the title in Dublin last year, along with all of the other apparatus competitions. Oh, no, come on, I can't believe she's going to save that. Oh, that was so close. My goodness, I thought she'd managed to hold on. Oh, that was as good an effort as you'll see. That was shades of Ashikawa Urara at the 2021 World Championships. That matrix-style save. Couldn't have fought harder there. Beautiful, really good strength. Attacking all of the leaps and the jumps. We're going to see her later, by the way, as the top qualifier for the floor final. And then the twisting gainer dismount. I mean, that was very entertaining from Thelma Adelsteinsdottir of Iceland. Some very authoritative and powerful work on the apparatus, and she almost kept it going. great mount sequence. That was so impressive. And here, you can't fight harder than that. And those of you who remember Ashikawa Urara in qualification at the 2021 World Championships will know why I'm drawing the comparison. On that occasion, Ashikawa stayed on and then went on to lift the World Championship title. Nice gainer dismount. Not had the easiest start to the season, the Icelandic gymnast. She's just recently said goodbye to her coaches of 10 years. That's a big life change. And we're going to see her in the floor final later. She's from the beautiful city of Reykjavik. Fabulous part of the world. When I say she's experienced, this is a gymnast with 5 gold medals, 3 silvers and a bronze at the Northern European Championships. Going right back to Tórshavn in the Faroe Islands in 2017. She also has a very interesting accomplishment, which I'm going to come back to later. A very unusual thing that she's managed in her gymnastics career. She thought she was free to go there, but not quite. But I'll throw the question out there for you now as the score of 12.166 comes in. Well, just think about that, what that would have been if she'd stayed on. We'd be looking at a 13 or so score for Alfsteinsdottir. Now to Nicole Stoimenova of Bulgaria. Ninth best in qualifying. First gymnast to open with a sideways on mount, the candle mount. Oh, that was lovely. Great sequence of wolf turns. Virtually flawless stability. Just slightly lost the balance there a fraction, but now quickly picks up the pace of the routine. Very aligned in the back tuck somersault. This is looking fiercely impressive from Nicole Stoimenova. Dismounts well, only a single twist at the conclusion of the routine. The difficulty score in qualifying was the lowest of all of the qualifiers. From an execution standpoint, that was very fine. Sometimes you find that a gymnast gets balance beam honours because of execution rather than difficulty. Many, many times it's happened over the years that somebody has emerged not as the strongest or not even close to the strongest in difficulty, but with crispness of performance. This is lovely. She's very stable. The score is 12.5, and she has gone into the gold medal position. 8 for execution. There we go. It was such a smooth display from the Bulgarian. She leads the way with 2 to go. She's guaranteed a medal. Zelina Kickinger of Austria. 7th best in qualification. 12.25 was the score. It was a tentative start. That might help her to feel that she's eased into the routine now. Wow, that's so much better than the start. What a great transformation. This is really interesting to watch because the first 10-15 seconds have been replaced by a totally different atmosphere to the routine. And that is a credit to her experience. Lovely side somersault. Wow, well done to Zelina Kickinger. Sometimes a routine doesn't quite start as you want it to, but when you're a gymnast of experience, you know how to get out of that and to change your mindset very quickly. There was a steal about this gymnast because she's off on the mount, and then straight after that, there was a tentative quality. That was the moment there when everything transformed. And from then on, she was steady as a rock. And maybe that sort of confidence comes from qualifying for an all-around final at the European Championships, which is what she did last year, or finished 18th in the all-around competition of the European Championships. There's a slight overlapping of the legs, a crossing over as she twists around. A little deduction for that, but very impressive change of dynamic in that routine. The leader we just saw there, Nicole Stoimenova, but there we go, 12.833. Fantastic from Zelina Kickinger. She might well win the title.
Representing Ukraine, Mariana Kinyuk.
Mariana Kinyuk of Ukraine. Top qualifier, 13.4. Young gymnast in her first senior international final. Very well rescued. Great quickness of reaction. Big moment this, isn't it, when you get into the first final of your senior career and you're the top qualifier and you're the last to go. Must have felt like a very long wait. She is looking really controlled and composed. It's a little adjustment to the side somersault, not a big one at all. How well done. How impressive from this young athlete who's been waiting the whole final as the top qualifier to get out there and perform. Mariana Kiniuk from the west of Ukraine at the foothills of the Carpathians. She was the bronze medalist on this apparatus at the National Championships last year. She's also been the junior beam champion at the Polish National Championships. Real degree of assurance to much of her work, and that save, very important. Warm applause from the crowd in Varna for Mariana Kiniuk, and that is why she has won the gold medal with 12.866 her score, 5.3 difficulty, and by a matter of hundreds she has just beaten Zelina Kickinger. And how marvellous a moment for Nicole Stoimenova of Bulgaria, the 9th best in qualification. She's come in, by the way, as a reserve, Stoimenova, because Amalie Dahlene of Norway, the 5th best qualifier, had to withdraw. So Stoimenova, coming in as a reserve, has taken the bronze medal. That is a fabulous example of seizing your opportunity when it comes along. Let's have a look back at how she did it and how the other two made their place known on the podium too. The classified results in the beam competition: bronze to first reserve Nicole Stoimenova of Bulgaria. Brilliant accomplishment in front of her home fans. Silver won by Zelina Kickinger of Austria, and by hundreds, Mariana Kiniuk, the Ukrainian top qualifier, wins the gold medal. Well, that was such an interesting final. I did suggest at the start we might have some deviation from the qualification standings, and I can tell you that the gold medal, that was won by the top qualifier, but the silver medal was won by the 7th best qualifier, and the bronze medal was won by the 9th best qualifier. So it was one of those beam finals. Varna is the setting for the National Naval Academy of Bulgaria, which is why the cadets always play such an important role in the presentations here. It means a lot to them to do it. They love to be involved and to represent the Bulgarian Navy with such distinction at an important gymnastics competition like this. The victory ceremony for the women's balance beam competition. The setting is the Palace of Culture and Sport in Varna, Bulgaria.
Third place and bronze medal, representing Bulgaria, Nicole Stoimenova.
A huge moment in the career of Nicole Stoimenova of Bulgaria. For the first time, she is a World Cup medalist. Zelina Kickinger of Austria has taken the silver medal. That's her best ever finish in a World Cup competition. But how's that for making your mark in your first ever senior international final? Mariana Kiniuk of Ukraine. Top qualifier and translated it to gold in the final. Must have been quite a weight as well. Last to go, knowing what everybody else had produced. I wonder how aware she was of the performances that had already happened, how much she was focusing on watching her competitors, studying the scoreboard, or whether she just wanted to go out there with a completely clear head and perform her routine without any awareness of what sort of number was required. Every athlete's different, only she knows what her process is. But whatever her process was, it worked. We'll have the national anthem of Ukraine now.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise up for the national anthem of Ukraine. Huge applause for the champions and march out.
Congratulations to them, the medalists in the beam competition at the Varna World Challenge Cup of 2025.